Hey everyone, it's Fridge here, yo. Doing an intro of Cecil's audio. Unfortunately, hoes, it's a sad day after this Cecil's going away. Now I know this is gonna cause lots of strife, but hey, come on now, man, he's got his own life. Anyway, Cecil, you've been a mentor to me, even though I only express it silently. So while now you just be a memory, I know you'll always be thought of fondly. So chill out, relax, let your head down, and let's all listen to the commentary now. These epic rhymes brought to you by Frigidatus. P.S. Lol writing stuff. See ya!
Two things I gotta say about that intro. One, I get the most interesting intro sent to me. That had to be the most interesting one out of them all. And number two, holy crap, writing staff, you just got called out. What's up, guys? This is Cecil, and I guess if you listen to the interesting introduction, yes, this will be my, sadly, the last one I will be doing, so far as I know, but I really gotta get on with stuff. So anyways, guys, I just decided not to really do it on a crazy ass game. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go in my folder, going to just dig up a solo replay I played, check it out, and this just so happens to be the last game that I played a couple days ago, and let's see what we can go with this, see what I can teach you guys on here on the last one. And I guess a lot of guys, you'll stop listening after the match is over, so I'll say some crap now, because a lot of people realize I do a couple of the Smash Brothers tournaments in Orlando, and they're getting pretty big, and during these tournaments a couple of the guys come up to me and say, "Are you the dude that plays Warcraft?" Weird question, but yeah, I know you guys, and a big shout out to all the Smash players in Orlando. I love you all, and big shout out to all the Warcraft players that come on over to the LAN Center as well. Devastation is probably the only ladder player that I know that comes on over there. But a few other people come over there as well, so I want to just get that shout out to you guys so you realize that, yeah, I acknowledge your existence, damn it. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. But, anyways, we got a game to cover, don't we, guys? Let's get this paused at the 15-second mark at the 1x speed. And if you're not at that point yet, you can always just pause it, get up to that point, because we're going to get this started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Alrighty. Well, this starts off, I believe he was a random player, that's right. So, typically when I'm up against a random player, best hero for you to pick is going to be the good old Demon Hunter. He's just pretty much the bread and butter hero against every race that you come up against. And I'll show you some examples of, why that's a good choice. So we're going to start this off. I guess what I can say is pretty much base structure. Now I'm designing my base pretty much based on the odds of this game. I have about a 1 in 4 chance of getting screwed a little bit, and I'll say a little bit because it kind of helps me out later on. And what I'm saying here is I'm making my base kind of in a pinch-off thing. So in order to get it back into these wisps, you gotta really fight through some nasty stuff to get back in there. See how I'm making my tiny little passageway in between this Tree of Life and this Ancient of War going on right here. Although I could have raised it up just a little bit, it can be compensated with a Moonwell if you'd like. But the reason I give the whole 1/4 spiel is because typically if an undead player is up against you, and if he is not going for any type of tech or expansion, I don't want to say tech because tech ones will do it, they will send the ghouls into your base, and those ghouls have a lovely very little collision size, and that pretty much means that they can walk right on through those tiny little barriers that you put up in his base. They can walk right through those moonwells, they can go right to those wisps, and you'll pretty much be defenseless. Your best bet against that is to kind of grid your base out to where, sure, his units can move freely in your base, but so can yours. And especially when you have archers, that's a very important thing to consider. And sure, you can argue that, okay, I can have my Demon Hunter in between that little pocket between the Ancient of War and the Tree of Life. But let's say that doesn't happen, and I get my archers out there, and instead of keeping those archers secure in the back, I'm going to have a little bit of a problem, and say that this guy is kill happy. He's going to run right on back into the base. He does not care if there's one entrance through, because he can take the easiest way out, just right through all that stuff, and if I need to exit, I am going to be out of options. So that's kind of the idea behind structuring your base up against an undead. I didn't know this because the bastard was random. But I did kind of strike it lucky. I did kind of meet up with his Death Knight out in the field there. Kind of burnt his mana out a little bit. Got a good old 100 off of him. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to kill that sheep real quick because, sure, he can get a use out of it now, but it kind of puts a timer on it saying that he has to use it now. If he kept that sheep in there later on, hey, every little bit helps. He could have just killed that sheep in a dire attack onto his base. He could have kind of risen an army there in addition, instead of having to run back into his base where he's making his graveyard. But I scouted out early. I discovered he was undead, and when you're discovering an undead, I see a lot of people, they just move their wisp once they see the blight. They're like, okay, undead's there. Dude, a lot of undeads now, they're going to get fiends. And it's a pretty popular strategy against Night Elf players. So I kind of move in here, try to tug him out a little bit. I get in a little bit close, get a little bit dangerous here. I want to try to get a mana burn off before running, but I really don't want to play that game with him. He doesn't want to play that game with me either. He brings his Death Knight back, and these ghouls out. So I realize, oh, it's a pretty good time to go ahead, run to the shop, and get some boots. So what does this mean for him? Well, he has two options. He can either run right towards my base, which I'm kind of worrying about right now, but thanks to these wisps that I have scouted out into the middle of the map, I can kind of see it a little bit, although I could have done a little bit better of a job scouting. That means I could have placed a wisp kind of at the top here, but judging from the encounter, he's kind of seemed to be running down a little bit. But nevertheless, I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to move that wisp back up to the top there. Now, the mistake that I'm making here already is with my creep choice. I'm still scared that this guy is going to run into my base and he's going to just stomp whatever I'm trying to build. He's going to go for after Moonwells. So I go ahead and I try to play it, safe. And I kind of say that like I'm putting quotations on it because, hell, if he comes up to me now, I'm pretty much helpless. And if by the way my base is structured, I could get hurt pretty bad. But I could have gone and creeped the expansion where I'm at, although it is a risky move. I didn't want to take that risk, and apparently, good old Monster Solo, didn't say his name by the way, but yeah, that's the fellow I'm up against. Monster Solo, good fella, he played very nicely. So, he's going to go down, immediately go right for an expansion. He's going to get up his Necropolis, and he means business. I mean, he's going to get that thing structured right away, and that's a tiny little mistake that I made as well. I should have sent a Wisp Scout into his base. I just hit Tier 2, so right after I hit Tier 2, I'm not really expecting to get a third hero versus Undead, and not a lot of people will do that, because when you have a third hero, your heroes are all generally a lower level. When your heroes are generally a low level, yeah, they're very, very easy to hero nuke, so you really don't want that happening. So you want to stick with two heroes, and these two do a very nice job against undead. But back to what I was saying, kind of went off on a tangent there. That little wisp that's in the tavern, I don't need it there. I could have sent that wisp down to